Hi everyone, Easter is just around the corner. That's right, this Friday at 9 o'clock we have a Good Friday service, and Sunday at 10 we have our Easter Sunday service. Do pray in your community group and during the week, in fact, that our services will be filled with people coming to hear about the good news of Jesus' death and resurrection. Good Friday at 9 is a bit of a different service. There'll be hot cross buns afterwards. We're having lots more Bible readings. It's a shorter service, just an hour. And there'll be a number of shorter Bible talks exploring the claims that Jesus makes and what it means that he died on the cross and why that's so significant to our faith. On Easter Sunday, the Resurrection Sunday, it'll be a joyful celebration and with an Easter egg hunt for the kids afterwards, but lots of songs, shorter Bible talks too, just for an hour as we celebrate the good news that Jesus not only died, but that he rose again and that he gives us new life and hope, not just for the future, but hope from the future on the other side of the grave. Wonderful claims that Jesus makes about our life and how we have meaning and hope, significance, purpose. Would you join us? And would you pray that your invites to those would be successful, that people would hear and be curious about who Jesus is and come along and explore the claims that he makes on their life too. But before we get there, of course, was just Sunday gone. And we saw the last conversation, Luke 22, verse 24 to 38, that Jesus had with his disciples in the upper room before he obviously goes to the cross. Started off with an argument about who was the greatest. And we kicked around this idea that the culture of the disciples, bubbling underneath the unsaid culture, was that they always argued about who was the best. It comes in the context of Jesus saying, one of you is going to betray me. And we saw them fighting over, no, it's not me, it must be someone else. They pulled out their inner lawyer, they argued. And it was this horrible picture of the human heart, justifying and saying, I'm better than someone else. Jesus addresses them and says, actually, guys, the greatest among you must be the servant. And we saw that Jesus is an example of that, the ultimate example of the one who serves. He served us, leaving heaven to earth, not to be the boss, but to serve by giving up his life on the cross. And that same example is not only an example for us, but also our very life as we live too in the community. Then Jesus says, Simon, Satan is after sift you and all the disciples. Notice the plural there. You is not just for Simon, but you as in the disciples. All of them will be sifted like wheat. And Peter, in fact, Simon Peter, will betray Jesus 3 times. He'll deny that he knew him. Peter says, no, I won't. And Jesus says, yes, you will. And it's really incredible that Jesus knows this. He tells Peter it's going to happen before because he says, I've prayed for you. And that when you've fallen, when you've been restored from falling, strengthen your brothers. This idea that God's grace in his kingdom is restorative and that there's always grace and forgiveness on the other side of denying Jesus. And the great comfort is that Jesus knows this. And in 1 John chapter 2, verse 1, it says, I'm writing so that you don't sin, but if you do, we have Jesus Christ, the righteous, the advocate on our behalf. So as you go into your week, think about this, that you have a God who forgives and is full of grace when we deny him, forget him. Very useful to know that we're coming up to Easter as well, and that our faith is more obvious potentially in the conversations we have. So do make use of that. Be full of courage and grace that Jesus will forgive you for denying him if that happens, but also he's on your side. Not only that, we saw Jesus said at the end, it's going to get harder. This whole bit about 2 swords and take a bag and sell a cloak to get a sword. The disciples are thinking merely externally. Jesus is saying, actually, guys, it's going to get harder. And just be prepared for that. The Christian life is often a struggle. It's not easy. People will be hostile to you. And he talks about Isaiah as well, kicking that around, saying, just like they were hostile to me. And so what we see is that Jesus knows that life's going to get tricky. And moreover, he knows that the evil in this world, the reason why he came, will be done to him, and that people are going to think he's evil. So the great message of Jesus is that he identifies and understands, he's full of grace and forgiveness, and that he's a God who is the King, came to redeem and reclaim a people for himself. So you kick around Luke chapter 22, 24 to 38. Notice the 4 buts that are in that passage too. Think about how they break the passage up. Remember the you is plural. Notice the language Jesus uses, how he speaks to the disciples. Notice their response as well. Maybe identify in your own heart some self-unbelief that might be there, the self-seekingness, the grumbling over who's the best, and just see the example of Jesus in all of that too. Anyway, enjoy kicking it around in your group, and we'll be back next week to chat through Good Friday, on Easter, Jesus dying, and then on Easter Sunday too. Have a great week, and I hope to see you all on Good Friday and Easter Sunday.